Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. The essential question driving this lesson is how can I improve my writing? And by the end of this lesson, you're going to be applying adjectives and imagery to a piece of writing. And I want you guys to stick with me today. This is a bit of a longer lesson, but it really is important for you to be successful in the upcoming weeks. So for review, you guys have been exploring adjectives. Adjectives describe a person, place, idea, or thing. We said adjectives modify a noun. And when we want to improve our writing, we add adjectives, but we also add descriptive imagery. So taste, touch, smell, hear, see. I want you guys to pull out a notebook or a Microsoft Word. And using your journal or Microsoft Word or notebook, I want you to write a 5 to 7 sentence description, physical description of someone who works in a candy store. What would they look like? What would they be wearing? And what would their personality be like? I want you to pause this lesson and do your writing 5 to 7 sentences describing someone who works in a candy store. When you're done writing, you can press play again. All right, and welcome back. I'm going to read you an excerpt, which is a passage from a story. The book is called Boy by Roald Dahl. This is an excerpt from it or a snippet of a passage from there by Roald Dahl. And I want you to compare what you wrote in your journals or Microsoft Word with the description by Roald Dahl. And this is a fantastic children's book. If you like it, grab it and read it. Her name was Mrs. Pratchett. She was a small, skinny old hag with a mustache on her upper lip and a mouth as sour as a green gooseberry. She never smiled. She never welcomed us when we went in, and the only time she spoke were when she said things like, "I'm watching you, so keep your thieving fingers off them chocolates." Or, "I don't want you in here just to look around. Either you forks out or you gets out." But by far, the most loathsome thing about Mrs. Pratchett was the filth that clung around her. Her apron was gray and greasy. Her blouse had bits of breakfast all over it, toast crumbs and tea stains and splotches of dried egg yolk. It was her hands, however, that disturbed us most. They were disgusting. They were black with dirt and grime. They looked as though they had been putting lumps of coal on the fire all day long. And do not forget, please, that it was these very hands and fingers that she plunged into the sweet jars when we asked for a penny's worth of treacle toffee or wine gums or nut clusters or whatever. There were precious few health laws in those days, and nobody, least of all Mrs. Pratchett, ever thought of using a little shovel for getting out the sweets as they do today. The mere sight of her grimy right hand with its black fingernails digging an ounce of chocolate fudge out of a jar would have caused a starving tramp to go running from the shop. But not us. Sweets were our lifeblood. We would have put up with far worse than that to get them. So we simply stood and watched in sullen silence while this disgusting old woman stirred around inside the jars with her foul fingers. Now my thought for you is, how does your writing compare with this writing? Is this what you envisioned someone who works in a candy store to look like? What I want you guys to do as part of this lesson is to write me 7 to 10 sentences describing one of Mrs. Pratchett's body parts. Her hair, her face, maybe her feet, or her hands. One of those 4. Hair, face, feet, or hands. I want you to use imagery, taste, touch, smell, hear, see, and I want you to use adjectives to describe one of her body parts. For example, if you're describing her hair, is it shiny and fluffy? Probably not. It's probably grimy and greasy and covered in what? Be really descriptive. Along with this description, though, as you have fun, I want you to be appropriate, but I want you to be as descriptive as you can in a gross Mrs. Pratchett sort of way. Make sure you edit for spelling and punctuation and submit this to me as your lesson quiz. Have fun.